together again, Hazel.
Yes, we are.
We're going to tell the folks about this book, Edge of Nowhere, that we did together. And we'll see if I can have another Perry moment.
Yep.
We thought you might like to know about how we got our ideas for the stories in this book. There's 9 stories in here. Do you remember how we got together, Hazel?
Oh, well, I know that we were in a critique group together, and you had an ebook of some short stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started working on The Seduction, which was our spoof on vampires together, trading paragraphs back and forth.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, and then we got, since your ebook was, that company was going out of business, we decided we would publish the stories, and we needed more, so we put in The Seduction and some other stories, and that was our first book.
That's right.
And then we got, this one was our second, The Edge of Nowhere.
And the second one, curious how that came to be. I kept getting mixed up. I was thinking we didn't have enough for the book, so we kept writing, and then we had too many, so we had to break it up into 2 books.
Right, yeah. So, what is your favorite story in here? What one do you recall that you got the idea for or was most passionate about?
Oh, I tell you what, it was during the time of BTK here in Wichita, and BTK was a famous serial killer that they spent years trying to capture. And so they the city was trying to decide what to do with his property, and they had talked about turning the land into a park. And I said it would scare me to death to walk on that land. I would be afraid that I would be picking up some kind of entity. And from that, I got the idea about this book called Edge of Nowhere, and that's the title of the story. And about what happened with the owner of the house who had died. Mm-hmm. And the house was inhabited by a demonic angel. And what happens there, you want to catch the book and read it.
Okay.
How about yours? What's your favorite?
Well, one of my favorites is a shorter story in here called A Shrill Note. Mm-hmm. And it's my favorite because I got the idea for it when I was having this really overbearing roommate.
And single white female.
And all of the time she would leave me notes. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, we could be right in the kitchen together, and instead of telling me it's your day to take out the trash, she would leave me a note. And then she left me notes like, don't read the newspaper at the table because it leaves black marks on the table. I got so aggravated at her notes, I wrote this story about a shrill note.
Isn't that funny I do the same thing on some of my stories, you know, like in Dark Side of the Rainbow, where I found my cat that had this potato chip sack pulled over its head, and I became really angry. So I wrote my anger out, and I was able to do on paper what I could not do in real life.
Yeah, well, those are just some of the stories that we have here in Edge of Nowhere, so I'm hoping that you folks will want to take and use your coupon and get an ebook for only 99 cents. I think that would be a good deal, don't you?
Well, I'll tell you what, it'll last longer than a McDonald's hamburger.
I think so.
Well, there's 9 stories total in the book. Take a good look, folks, and visit our blog, Keyhole Conversations. Pick up the coupon code, and we'll see you in our books.